They say straight line speed is for fast cars, but speed around corners is for fast drivers. This is the sacrosanct tarmac of the Curry Motor Speedway in Coimbatore, and here we have it all. Long straight, 8 corners, blisteringly fast cars, and the country's best racing drivers. As the racing begins on day 2, let's see what they have in store for us at the 17th JK Tyre Racing Championship.
Now it's the right time. Our aim is to bring in all the players together on a single platform and pull in all the resources so that we take the sport to a next level.
For the first time, we decided to put in a lot more effort on the drivers rather than doing any improvements on the car. And we had the opportunity to actually sit in the cars with the drivers in the same race cars, and we let them go out on track. We would see what mistakes they are making, correct them, and then later we would drive and give them an experience as to what it is to do it the right way.
JK Tyre's association with Indian motorsport began 3 decades ago, when the company took a conscious decision to lay down a long-term and sustained approach to promote Indian motorsport.
Back when we took this constructive decision that we are going to invest on motorsport, and the company got the whole package together. I was from the motorsport background, I was inducted in. We were from an era of rallying, and it was after 7 successive years that we realized that if you need to give a fillip to the sport, if you want the sport to be looked at by common man, you need to go back to the drawing board, you need to go back to a stadium sport. And that's how in 1997 we got this whole package together of racing, where we had a 800cc powered single-seater racing car, and we used to have Maruti Esteems as our saloon category. This is how we started, with very humble background, and as they say, rest is history.
And over these 3 decades, through the efforts of its motorsport division, the company has been associated with events in all forms of motorsport in India. From the JK Tyre Rally of Coimbatore, which is part of the National Rally Championship, to the TSD format JK Tyre Hornbill Rally held annually in Nagaland, and most recently to the JK Tyre Arunachal Festival of Speed, held for the first time in 2014 in the town of Dirang in Arunachal Pradesh. In the racing format, JK Tyre has the distinction of hosting the JK Tyre Racing Championship, which is now in its 17th year, and the JK Tyre Rotax Max National Karting Championship, which has been going strong since the past decade and is currently in its 11th year.
Although there were some big boys who were kind of ready to take this game, but if you wanted the sport to find its feet, so we needed to get go-karting into India. And that was the same time in 97 December that we opened our first 4-stroke karting center. And this whole program then evolved on year basis. And in 2000 we also had our first karting championship. So even the karting program now is in its 14th year, and this racing program is in its 17th, actually 18th year, because first year we ran it as a contender to the championship. So it's been a long journey.
In all these years, it has been JK Motorsport's endeavour to break away from the elitist image that the sport has, and to make motorsport in India more affordable, at the same time to ensure that it is at par with international operating standards, and promoting Indian motorsport talent and making India a force to be reckoned with in the world of international motorsport.
You see, today we are in the bestest of situation, because I don't think we should look at this championship or any other scenario. We should look at Indian scenario, and we should be very proud that we have this fantastic entry level 100% Indian car, and as I said, is the cheapest form of racing that is available in the world. So come to the Indian driver. He has now got a program. He starts from 4-stroke karting, in the backyard of his town, graduates to two-stroke, graduates to LGB, graduates to the higher levels. So I would say if a kid has it in him, he can train himself in this country and actually now launch his career from F3 and above when he goes abroad, which was not the scenario earlier.
The opening round of the 17th JK Tyre Racing Championship took place on the hallowed tarmac of the Curry Motor Speedway in Coimbatore. And the meanest cars to take the grid that weekend, and on every race weekend since the past 2 years, are the Formula BMW cars. The FB02 series was brought to India by JK Tyre to give Indian drivers exposure to technology and a level of racing at par with international standards. The FB02 series is run in India by Team Euro International. Antonio Ferrari is the team principal for Euro International. His team has won multiple championships across the world. We spoke to the veteran race god and asked him about his take on Indian motorsport and what it's like to run a championship in India.
It's one of the oldest teams in the world in a junior class. The team born in 1989. We are at 609 races so far in close to 26 years of continuing racing. We have 146, 47 win. I don't even remember how many. We've been racing in IndyCar, 101 races, 9 times Indianapolis 500 as a team. We've been doing IMSA Sport Prototype in America. We won 94-95 championship with the Ferrari T3 SP. We've been Formula 3 champion in 2000-2001 in America. We've been Formula BMW. The biggest win is in Formula BMW on this car. Euro International is the winningest teams in Formula BMW history with 7 championships won, the last World Championship won, 11 titles as a drivers, 86 win in 112 races competed in Formula BMW. In 2012 and 11, JK was the sponsor of the JK Asia Championship, and we won both championships. In 2011, with Lucas Auer, now in the European Formula 3. In 2012, with Aston Air. At that moment, the series closed to be Asia Championship, and we basically won both championships and most of the races. And Ardi Sharp saw our organization, saw what we delivered. We were a structured European team, American team, Asia team. So was the idea to promote Indian drivers. We had in the last race, Aditya Patel winning with us in Delhi in the Formula 1 event, and he was the last winner in 2012. I think that was the idea, to do something for the Indian drivers, young drivers. So I was approached. We own 12 cars here and 4 more cars in Europe and in the United States. So we have the fleet of cars available, but most we have the organization, the structure, the container, the equipment. I launched the idea to have a specific series for drivers, and we started last year. Formula BMW car that you can see from my shoulder are single-seater car that's been using for many years in Europe, in the European series, are Miguel chassis, carbon chassis with BMW engine, 1.2 liter 4-cylinder, about 140 horsepower, capable to do a speed up to 240 kilometers an hour. The gearbox is a sequential gearbox, right-Julen, the same of Formula BMW car, for Formula 3 cars, and the total weight of the car is 450 kilos. What this series does is give a feeling, give a teaching, give an opportunity to put yourself up there, to show that you can do it, but it's a long way to become professional. I think we can teach a lot of things, but with the 4 events, 12 races, 2 days of testing. It's very limited what we can give to these drivers, because I think what they learn in round 1, they forgot in round 2. So every time we go back here, we start from the same problem they had before. And this is what is missing in India. In Europe, you're able to race every weekend. Here, once each 2 months. There is not a culture, there is no mentality. JK does an incredible job given this opportunity. And now it's the drivers, the family, the sponsor allowed to a continuation of this. I think India has good drivers, but to be honest, I have seen no one arriving to win a very important championship. I know Shandok since was in World Series in Run GP2, but after that Kartikeyan did a fantastic job up to one level. Since we didn't have other driver run, I talk about Formula. I think Armando Brain is doing a very good job right now in GT cars, and Patel is doing the same. But you guys needed some young drivers, 15, 16, 17, follow the oldest needed step with the right money to get to be, I say GP2 drivers, maybe Formula 1 in the future. But what we need to focus now is the 16 years old, 17, 15. If India want to have new drivers, this is the time to do a professional effort, proposal, package, offer to these guys. This is I say package, championship that need to be run at least for 3 years, but also need to be a follow-up. I think we need to take one of these two drivers and give it a chance with the sponsorship or support, whatever it is, from the federation to local sponsor of India to race professional in Europe in the following year or in the following 2 years. And after they are capable, well, they need to be sustained. If it's not, they need to quit. My personal view, and I'm very demanding when I talk about drivers, because I have young drivers right now in Formula 1 that just 4 years ago were on this car with me. There is a long way to go for an Indian drivers to learn the system, to learn what it takes to be a professional driver. So I think right now what I see is I need a lot of job on preparing mentally, technically, with the mentality to approach motor racing. This is actually unique and it's something special because no one worldwide does something like this. So that's why I am absolutely supporting of this idea. We are contracted by JK. I think we do in the last year and this year a good job to provide a professional service, but the drivers need to thank you in an incredible way, JK, to allow to this thing, because no one, I repeat, no one worldwide does something like this.
Coming up on JK Tyre Racing Lines, all the Sunday racing action from the Curry Motor Speedway in Coimbatore. Welcome back. We are at the Curry Motor Speedway in Coimbatore and the country's best race drivers are going flat out. The track has been throwing up its own set of challenges at the drivers. Let's see how they're tackling them. The Curry Motor Speedway in Coimbatore is a very technically challenging racetrack. It used to be a private airstrip at one point in time, but was later donated by the legendary S. Karivardhan to the motorsports fraternity in Coimbatore in order to be converted into a racetrack for the benefit of Indian motorsport. It runs a long straight which was the original landing strip, and over time 8 very difficult corners were made around the straight to complete the 3.2 km long loop. The Curry Motor Speedway can be very unforgiving, and the key here is precision. Diljit Shaji of Dark Dawn Racing carried forward his form into the third race of the Formula LGB4 category. The Sunday afternoon saw Diljit have a great start off the line, But his Dark Dawn teammate Sudarshan Rao was determined not to let him get away easily this time. Shaji and Rao were at it for most of the race, and it was only towards the end that Shaji got the better of Rao to claim his third win of the weekend. Rao's consistency paid off and he finished second in all three LGB races. Dark Dawn Racing had a good outing at the start of the 2014 racing season.
Today's race was even more interesting. I got the lead, then Diljit got it back, then I went off in the first corner and fell back to third. But after that I got my rhythm back and I caught up with Amaya Bafna and finished second, and on the way I got the fastest lap of the race. So I guess I'm almost there where I can challenge Diljit.
The mean Formula BMWs took to the track next. And as the grid of talented drivers got prepped to push the limits of the BMW 1.2-litre Mygale engine-powered monsters, getting it right in these cars was a ticket to a test with Team Euro International in Europe, and maybe a Formula 3 driving seat. And that is probably the reason some of the country's most talented racers are driving in this category. Former VW Polo R Cup champion Sandeep Kumar, FIA Young Driver winner Akhil Rabindra, World Karting Championship driver and former National Karting Champion Krishnaraj Mahadik, and former National Karting Champion, former VW Polo Cup champion and the defending National Formula BMW champion Vishnu Prasad. The grid is nothing short of spectacular and the driving is going to be close. Very, very close. And as the Formula BMWs exited the pit lane, a cheer went up from the crowd on seeing the intimidating machines take the tarmac and line up to take a start in all their glory. Ravindra got a jump on Vishnu at the start and a tussle ensued. Vishnu was quick to recover and then broke away post that, not giving the rest of the talented field any chance of coming close to his rear wing. Driving with class and precision and holding clean lines on the sharp turns, Vishnu enthralled the goodly Sunday crowd in the final race of the FP02 series, even after a poor start. He finished the 15-lap race in a time of 16:35.338. Rabindra came home in second place, 4.538 seconds adrift, while Krishnaraj Mahadik was third, 7.055 seconds behind.
This race was not a great start. I mean, going into C1, Akhil was beside me, and going into C2 is already on my outer. So I really had to defend, and Krishna was already ready to pounce on the inside of me. So I needed to defend on Krishna, who was on the inside, as well as Akhil, who was on the outside. So I really messed up my start, and I had to get it down. I had to get the first 2 laps right so I could pull away, but I didn't do that as well. So I kept the pressure on myself even more, even after a shabby start.
Last race of the day, everyone's tired, dehydrated and all that. I mean, I had a small pain on my hand at blister. So the initial first 7 laps, I gave it my all. I think I was the fastest in the 7 laps. Then I got a decent lead, and but I couldn't catch Vishnu. Then I realized Krishna is a bit far away. Just maintained my lead and finished the race.
It was a hat-trick for Vishnu as the defending national champion established his dominance on the grid in the opening weekend of the championship. Holding him off would not be easy, and he made that very clear. The Polo R Cup category is in its 5th year, and the quality of competition and the driving talent gets better with each season. The 2014 season sees a good mix of rookies and experienced drivers on the Polo R Cup grid. And the TSI Volkswagen Polo Race Rockets are set to put up brilliant shows of tin-top racing.
This time we've had quite a few new drivers who have absolutely no experience in motorsport before this season, and that's quite a big challenge for us. Hopefully they'll learn a lot from that. And just before that we had our first pre-season test over here in the same track at Coimbatore. And when we did the selection program, we had drivers who were actually 6 seconds off the pace, which is huge. And in the pre-season test, I think we had a lot of work done. Aditya Patel was also on board with us, and we were working with the drivers. I think they learned a lot out of the sessions that we had over the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
The Sunday race was a reverse grid start, and former rally driver Bonnie Thomas was on pole. Thomas made the most of his position at the start and held off an aggressive drive from the more experienced Angat Singh Matharu to claim the top step of the podium and denying Matharu a double victory over the weekend.
Due to the reverse grid format, I was in pole position today, which really helped me. I had a clean run from the start. Although I messed up with the launch, fortunately I could stay in my position. And the competitors here, I should say, are really good drivers. Volkswagen has done a very intense training to them, and I'm sure with their age at their hand, they would definitely be climbing up their ladders. They are exceptional drivers, and I could learn from these young drivers very much.
That brings us to the end of another high-octane race weekend. This is the start of the 2014 racing season. You can catch the entire episode online on timesnow.tv and follow Times Now on Facebook and Twitter for updates about telecast schedules. We'll be back again next week, smack in the middle of all the action. And with us, so will you. Watch this space, same time next week. Next week on JK Tyre Racing Lines, all the action from the 11th JK Tyre Rotax Max National Karting Championship.
Should be able to make that overtaking maneuver.